Magna Carta for Filipino seafarers. Relief or suffering? In the bustling port city of Manila, a seasoned seafarer named Mateo Cruz stood before his crew, holding a newspaper that bore the headline, Magna Carta for Filipino Seafarers Signed into Law. His heart pounded as he read through its provisions, promises of better wages, fair contracts, and protection against abuse. It sounded like the relief they had all been waiting for. But as he looked into the eyes of his fellow seafarers, he saw both hope and uncertainty. The promise of relief for decades, Filipino seafarers had been the backbone of the global maritime industry. Yet they often endured low wages, contract violations, and even abandonment in foreign ports. The Magna Carta was meant to change that. It ensured standardized contracts to prevent unfair terms, mandatory insurance for illness, injury, or abandonment, stronger legal support against abusive employers, career development programs to help them advance. Mateo smiled as he recalled his younger days, struggling with contract disputes and meager wages. This law could finally give justice to thousands of Filipino seafarers. The burden of suffering, but relief often came with hidden costs. His close friend, Captain Luis, sighed and said, "Mateo, have you read the fine print?" Some shipping companies were already reacting negatively to the law. Stricter labor policies meant higher costs for employers, and some companies were considering hiring from other countries where regulations were more relaxed. Others worried about the bureaucratic red tape involved in enforcing the law, which could lead to delays in deployment. "We fought for these rights," Mateo argued. "Should we just accept being treated unfairly?" "I'm not saying we shouldn't," Captain Luis replied, "but what if this makes jobs harder to get? Some of our men have families to feed. If foreign ship owners think we're too expensive, they might hire seafarers from other nations instead." Relief or suffering? The seafarers' verdict. The crew members debated for hours. Some believed the Magna Carta was a step forward in protecting Filipino seafarers from exploitation. Others feared it might lead to fewer opportunities and longer unemployment periods. As Mateo walked home that night, he realized something. A law, no matter how well written, is only as good as its implementation. If the government and agencies ensured fair enforcement while keeping Filipino seafarers competitive, it could truly be a relief. But if corruption and inefficiency plagued the system, it could become another burden. Would the Magna Carta be their savior or downfall? Only time would tell.